Hey, what's up? Happy Tuesday night. Thank you so very much for joining us on a weeknight. This is fun. Like I get to decompress from the rigors of space, with hostile aliens and gas nebulas and gas giants and gas normal-sized entities and oh, we already have the old-ass retro gamer himself and Beta Virus in the chat room. Rockstar is already here. We got a Rockstar not in space, not on the surface, but below. But we'll get to that in a second, because right now I want to do a little bit of plugging of our sponsor, wink, Tiger Squawk Records. Out now, Virtual Method from Isserly. Goodness gracious, this is a monster of a doom metal album. Paraphilic Urges, just bonkers noise stuff. I absolutely love it. Self-titled debut from them on Tiger Squawk Records. We also have the OST for Now You See. The game and the album are Pay What You Want. That is also from the illustrious Isserly, because she had nothing to do for 3 seconds. And, in the chat room, Beta Virus Chroma. I cannot say enough about this EP. You will just dance. Like, wherever you're out, you just start dancing. So, listen with caution. It's involuntary dance music, the new IDM. That just happened. All right, so my guest today, who I will bring in on a second. Oh, speaking of Tiger Squawk, we have Demos Logic. It's based on a Tuesday. Like sometimes you just need to do it on a Tuesday, man. I know I say this every week, very excited to talk to our guest today. Has been on fire lately, and it has some new hot heat coming in the clip. And not just because we're going to go 5 miles below the surface of terra firma, which we will in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Psyence Fiction, what is up, Psy?
Oh, not much.
Oh, thank you so much for figuring out the transmission from your underground bunker up here.
You got to do what you got to do.
Awesome. Well, it is a treat to be able to not only speak to you, but speak to you at billions of dollars a second from out here in space. It is late for Space Couch, Dan, but you gotta do what you gotta do, like the man says. Speaking of the man, we have dang it. Crap, I forgot to do it again. Call the spaceships to Davenport and prepare for Divanarchy. There, got the catchphrase in. That will never catch on because I always forget to say it. Back to you, sir. This year, or at least recently, I'm not sure what it is on the year mark, came The Album Is a Lie. That was amazing. Enhancing the Truth, sort of the track off of that is that has been making the most rounds is a beast. We've been seeing that around. Dude, I love it. That is a precursor, because I understand you have in short order something new in the clip.
Yes, actually, as I mentioned, I have a exclusive news for you.
We have a Tiger Squawk exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's Space Couch. How did I get those confused? We have a Space Couch. We have a Space Couch exclusive. What do you got? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
So, as of 15 minutes ago, the last album I was working on, Unmarked Grave, is now up on Bandcamp.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Space Couch debut. We have our very first album has debuted on Space Couch. Is that give us the URL where people should go?
That's actually a fantastic question. Yeah, I forget my own URLs all the time.
Yes, well, we have to make allowances sometimes for name acquisition.
So you can go to sciencefiction.bandcamp.com. That's PSYENCE fiction.bandcamp, and it's pay what you want. Go out there and snag it.
Oh, that is exciting. So, Unmarked Grave. What can you tell us about it?
It's a lot like the album I did last year, The Monsters We Become. It's just kind of a grab bag of some stuff that I've been sitting on for a while, and some other ideas I've had floating around that I just pumped out real fast and didn't know what else to call it. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. It's just a thing. There's no concept behind it. And I'm like,
okay.
Well, what can I call it other than like something lame like Untitled Album? That's stupid. Wait, Unmarked Grave.
Nice.
We don't know what it is. It's just the thing that's there.
Awesome. I love it. Is that how you write? Like the Lego approach? Like I'll build a little loop here and then maybe I'll use it, or do you sort of think in fully formed tracks?
How I start almost every track is I start with a chorus, the hook essentially, and once I get that down and I'm like happy with that, from that point on I'm just moving that further and further down and just building the intro off of that, just adding in or slightly removing some parts of that hook until I can get to that point, just building up to it. Then from that point, removing things, building back up with hook again, and out.
Okay, awesome. So it's a goal-oriented approach, but there's an evolutionary process sort of baked in.
Yes.
Awesome. The what can we expect? Like, I mean, it's like the Monsters We Become was like sort of an ooky spooky kind of thing, and then you sort of flipped that script and did a whole album about Portal, which is amazing, and we'll get into that. Why the return to this style?
I mean, I just kind of bounce all around. The concept of the Portal album was, even though yes, it is very much Portal, I like the dark humor aspect of that game, and then with this one, kind of returning to it is mostly because it's just kind of what I do, I guess. I mean, I had a bunch of ideas, kind of some heavier, kind of super bass heavy-esque witch house kind of sound, some drone, but most of this album is just very aggressive, electro-industrial sort of dance music.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to hearing it. And I dig that. It's like shampoo. Like you got to change it up. Like
yeah, it's like taking medicine. You don't want to get so used. Your body eventually goes used to it, and it stops being effective. So you need something new to spice it up and get you excited again.
No, that's great. Like there's only so many Portal samples like in the world, and or even concepts to derive therefrom. And so
I actually have an exact amount.
You've done the research. Well, you
yes.
could get a doctorate in portalology,
which we can get into later. But yes, I know the exact amount of Portal quotes that can be used.
Okay. Our own Beta Virus says, "I love that album, by the way." And Ashley Stevens says, "So happy to see my favorite person as a guest on my favorite show." Aw, from both of us. Thank you.
Yes, that is my wonderful other half.
Awesome. Well, I was not aware you would grace us with our very first album availability announcement. So I prepared a clip of the breakout track from Enhancing the Truth.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
The breakout track from the album is a lie. It's called Enhancing the Truth. Let's cut over to that real quick so y'all can hear this majesty. If I do it right on the thing. All right, there we go. This was also on
required test protocol.
the Sample
the
Comp
next
4
test
Mechanisms
chamber.
Festival.
You will be entirely on your
Get into
own.
a sec.
Good luck.
That was a monster of an album. Pardon my pun. Packed. It's like that makes me happy to be alive and not incinerated on a conveyor belt by the computer. Okay, and we're back into scene 5. Okay, and Mark, I remembered that if you put numbers on things, you can remember them.
That helps.
It helps. It helps. Only took me 32 episodes, but that was dope. What were there any? I know I overuse this word a lot. I'll have a little like doorbell sound for the amount of times I use certain words. But is there any? I know you said it's kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge, but is there any unifying gestalt we should maybe look for on Unmarked Grave, or is it totally to the listener?
To a degree, there is, like, the reason that I kind of went with the title is because to a degree there is somewhat of a concept. It's very, very loose and not entirely accurate, but there's a little bit of a concept of just death or undeath.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I sampled Beetlejuice. So there's that.
I'm already happy.
Yeah, I sampled Half-Life again.
Oh, love it.
The HEV suit saying user death imminent.
No. Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I even sampled a scene from the movie Tombstone, the Wyatt Earp movie.
Oh yeah.
So I sampled that, and that's, again, talking about death. So that's a loose concept theme that was behind that one.
Okay. So once again, check out Unmarked Grave out on the Psyence Fiction Bandcamp. I'll get that up on the Tiger Squawk page shortly, but it just happened now, people. And, sometimes it takes a second for the signal to get from space all the way to you lovely people on the spinning blue dot you guys call Earth, even though I occasionally live there in Boston. And
I'm trapped under it.
You're trapped under it with like a peak, there's a gravestone that's emitting in Kansas City, Missouri, that's like emitting the signal from your underground base, wherever that may be.
Exactly.
All right.
I
cool.
can't get into specifics about location, but we're here.
You're right. I mean, it's just science fiction just isn't a catchy name, people. Like, we're making it happen with tomorrow's technology.
Oh, there's so much abomination of music happening here. I'm a mad scientist, for Christ's sake.
Right. You got to be in. I mean, international waters are they're not international enough. You got to get below international waters for the mad science that you were concocting. It's just.
Oh yes.
Moral compasses. Not only do Earth compasses not work that far below the ground, but moral compasses are shattered.
Utterly.
The dude has no remorse, people, and you can check that out now on Unmarked Grave. When you are not slamming out the extremely good electro music, you are doing a lot of DJing work and work in the Kansas City industrial community. That's pretty exciting. What have you been up to there?
Yeah, so as of the recent months, as of this year essentially, back in I believe May, I did my very first show in quite a while, but I did my first show with this new local production company called Industrial Goth Underground Kansas City. We've been trying to just kind of help the underground side of industrial music, the lesser known people,
right.
at some point we're going to try to get Rabbit Junk out here and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I did my first show with them where I met the wonderful Laura and AJ of Lorelei Dreaming.
Hey, love those guys. And
Oh God, they're amazing. They are truly a delight. I love them to death. Yeah. So then I've just been, popping up at a few shows here or there. Did a show with the guys of Adoration Destroyed.
Nice.
And then did a God Module show and met the wonderful Scott and Dom of Finite Automa.
Yeah.
And then what was my most recent one? I can't remember the most recent one. I worked with DJ Satanic Hispanic.
Hey, really? Okay.
Yes.
That's my boy.
We have Satanic Hispanic coming out here periodically for a kind of a monthly sort of thing called Blasphemy, where we just have a night of just crazy witch house. It's amazing.
That's great. He when I lived in Chicago, I would go to his the shows he put on, and like that was like some next level visuals and stuff. It was pretty awesome. And you're DJing these, yeah?
Yes, I DJ almost exclusively because I came from the EDM rave scene from years ago.
Okay.
Almost 10 years now. Holy shit.
All right.
So that's kind of what my roots are based in, which is frustrating because that's not what the industrial goth EDM, not EDM, EBM scene and everything is built on.
Yeah.
So like me going outside of Kansas City to do a show is just it's going to take a lot of work.
Like, what do you mean?
Because it's something I've noticed is whereas the DJs in this particular music scene and community are very valuable and important, we aren't what drives the scene. It's bands that drive the scene.
Okay.
This is a music community founded on bands. Whereas where I came from, DJs are the literal foundation of rave music. So you'll see a DJ. There's DJs touring all the time in EDM, but I rarely ever see a DJ in the industrial community really do like a full-scale tour. Because no one wants to see a DJ; they want to see a band.
Right.
So hopefully, at some point, I can kind of spin that narrative and be like, "Hey, why not come have a dope night with a DJ? Because I do amazing sets, so you're gonna want to hear this."
And what's your big ups to Krista Cassandra in the room. And what is your DJ name, sir?
Same thing, Psyence Fiction.
Psyence Fiction. All right, so check him out. And you are on point today, for you have wonderfully teed up my next question. With this band-centric world, will we ever see a Psyence Fiction live?
In terms of a band?
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Okay.
That is the dream. At the present moment, I just don't really have time or energy really to dedicate myself to getting some people together, trying to figure out everything, rehearsals, practice, shows, all that sort of stuff. I just don't have the time or energy. So I would love to, because I used to be a vocalist for a metal band many years ago, and that was absolutely amazing. I miss that so much. I just miss grabbing a microphone and screaming for an hour.
It's pretty
about
cathartic.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, if I can get a band together, it's going to be a Star Wars band.
Okay.
I already have the name picked out. It's an old name I used before. So,
can you give us a taste, or do you want to keep that close to the chest for now?
Hand of Thrawn.
Dude, that's very strong. That's very strong. I love it. Right? That's good. Because, like, everyone would be like, the lightsabers or some, like, just pedestrian shit. Hand of Thrawn. Very good. Oh, man. Lord Hybrid Toxic said, I'll play guitar for that project so fast. So,
hell yeah.
You've already got some interest. But, and then Psyence Fiction specifically, would you want to do that full band, or have you not gotten to that stage yet?
At this exact moment, I haven't quite gotten that far out in my thought process on it. It's something that's just kind of rolling in my head still that I want to do, but nothing definitive yet.
Okay. Well, I would love to see that personally, but get that going as able. I mean, I know you just took like a physical blow literally to the abdomen today.
Yes.
So you got some healing up to do, and Wolverine like speed to you on that, man.
Yeah, because I go back to work Thursday. So.
No, really? Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, I had. It's interesting to do Couch Tonight. So if you're listening to the podcast, we're doing this a little bit later in the evening, and I've just come from work, and I'm a little I'm not spent, but I'm like zen. You know what I mean? I don't have that chipper Sunday morning like but it's nice. It's really nice. Space is tranquil. When it's not trying to kill you, which is all the time. But, you get used to that. You have to deal with geologic pressures and things of that nature.
It's all, both of our situations are very tranquil in the sense that we're not actively aware of it trying to kill us, but it is definitely doing so.
Well, I mean, you and I, if you'll allow me to make this comparison, and not even 100% jokingly, sort of need... I'll say this and you tell me if you agree. If we stop swimming, we die. In that it's like, I got to keep moving, and I'll allow myself to like play some Knights of the Old Republic or something like that, but that comes at a cost, and like, I got to get this out the door.
Yeah, no, I get that. As of recently, I've been working very hard to keep myself from biting off more than I can chew. I'm starting to realize that if I'm not careful, I'm going to start burning myself out, and then I'll be of no use to any one period. So
is that.
I've let some shows kind of go past me because I'm like, no energy.
Well, right. I know you can't see me, but oh no, Space Dog is just just drinking from her bowl.
Dog!
Space Dog may come on screen, but you may hear her lapping up some water in the background. But that is an interesting point, and like, I think saying yes to a lot of things, if it doesn't involve like a bear, is like a good thing, but if you burn out and do 0%, then now you went from doing everything to nothing. Like,
yeah,
you're dividing by 0 or multiplying, whichever sounds cooler. If all of your influences for science fiction got together and made a kaiju movie, like Godzilla or Gamera or any of the classics, what might that kaiju movie look like?
Well, I am a enormous Godzilla fan.
Awesome.
That is 100% my jam. I grew up with Godzilla, played video games of Godzilla. So I suppose to put this would have to be in a manner of, prominent, well, more my favorite Godzilla kaiju, and comparing them to artists that have had the most influence and going from there. So top favorite monster, most influential, and then just progressively down from there.
Okay, great. Love it.
So if we had to start off with Godzilla himself, because, I mean, obviously.
He's the king. He's the best.
So the most absolute influential artist that is had on my entire production and career would be actually yourself.
Oh!
Because here's the thing. I know I've mentioned this many times in the past, but I don't know if I've ever properly expressed exactly what I mean when I say you've had the most influence on me. And that's, I'm sitting here at 14 years old. I'm on Vampire Freaks. They just introduced the music player, and they have a pre-made list of music in there. So I'm going through it. You had And One Military Fashion Show. Panzer AG, I think, was in there with Machine Gun Go-Go. VNV Nation. Assemblage 23. You know, all the big names. And I'm going through and I see Gothsicles, Konami Code. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I know what the Konami Code is. Did someone actually make a song about the Konami Code? What the fuck? So I'm listening to it, I'm like, holy shit, this motherfucker did it. So in my brain, I now am thinking, so wait, you can make industrial music about dumb, nerdy shit?
Yeah, boy, can you.
Holy crap. So fast forward up to, 2009, 2010, when I started doing production, I was like, well, you know what? I write what you know about. Sure. I know about video games and music, movies, and just dumb nerd shit. So I'm just gonna get samples from video games,
right? Throw
them into a track, and call it good because I know someone else who's doing this already.
Hell yeah, man!
So it could work. So that was a huge just breakthrough for me to be able to be like, yeah, I can totally do this. I don't need to worry about trying to be all super serious all the time. It's just, let's just make music that's fun.
Oh, man, we're flying through a hydration nebula right now. I'm not having space emotions.
So, that's where we start there. Now, moving on from that point, so obviously you and I, stylistically, sound-wise, polar opposites. Our connection is concept.
Right.
So, stylistically speaking, I would say that, my next favorite kaiju is Gigan.
Okay.
And so the next biggest influence that I've had would be XRX.
Nice.
Their early, first 3 albums specifically, because it's just the sound and the way they did things. I kind of borrowed some of that idea from, and also was just helped me also realize that I don't need to worry about trying to put my own voice into everything. I can just make some good dance music, and it sells. It works. After that, there's, I suppose you would probably be able to put, Destroya, whatever. How the fuck ever you pronounce his name? Got 2. It's ORO. What the fuck? How do you do that? Destroy. What?
I don't know. What is it?
But I would compare that to probably someone like early Combi Christ.
Okay.
Like the very early days with
okay.
This shit will fuck you up.
Yeah.
And Intruder Alert, stuff like that.
Right.
Tractor.
You can't say it wasn't a milestone. But yeah. Wait. I want to go back a step. What's the kaiju? Destro,
something like that. Destroya, something like that.
But which one is it?
He was this gigantic, huge, purple dragon monster that is infamously known for having caused some serious damage to Godzilla.
Okay.
More than most kaiju. He caused some severe damage.
So
and
his shit got fucked up.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's a very good analogy there for early Everybody Hates You era Combi Christ.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Who's your daddy? Purple Dragon. I don't know.
Oh God. I suppose following that up, you have Space Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah.
Oh God, who would be a good one for that? Because, I suppose Suono would be a very influential, one of the top ones. I don't know, or how are you familiar with Suono at all?
Nope. Let us give me and the audience at home like the 140 character Twitter bio of Suona.
If I recall correctly, they are from Italy,
Mm-hmm.
and it is basically industrial hardstyle.
Oh.
So you just take your traditional hardstyle anthems sort of sound and just make it kind of darker and heavier industrial, and boom, there you go.
Where do I sign? That sounds awesome.
Yeah, they have, I believe, 2 albums.
All right.
Something like that.
We will link that out in the show notes unless I forget to do it.
It happens to the best.
It happens, yes. I get space madness. Space jokes all day, all night. We're doing this at night tonight. I can't tell because it's a relative concept out
yeah,
here
you're
in
in
the vote.
space. What the fuck does night mean to you?
I mean, like, and you have to pipe in like the illusion of sunlight, from the outside, like that one tower.
Oh god, no! I hate the sun. I'm actually
that shit.
I'm technically allergic to the sun.
Oh wow.
Like, and that's not a joke or anything. Like, I have something that's called sun sneezing.
Wow.
It's a genetic thing that isn't super common, but what it is like if I go from a dark room into direct sunlight, I'll naturally squint my eyes, and when I do that, all the nerves and capillaries in my nostrils will be triggered at the same exact time and cause me to start sneezing.
Wow.
Sometimes I can be sneezing for like 6-7 times in a row.
You are now scientifically the most goth person I know. So
I know, right?
That's pretty great.
Like, I'm so goth, I'm allergic to the fucking sun.
Coming soon, Death Sneeze. That'll be the follow-up.
How did I never think of that one? Shit.
Well, I mean, there's so many albums. There was a kid that had that affliction, and Pete, says my buddy DJ Narc and fellow Gothsicle. Yes, that's how he stayed awake in that one episode. Oh man. I glossed over. I don't mean to keep bringing it back to myself, but like, fellow Gothsicle, thank you very much for helping me out in Kansas City.
Oh my god, are you kidding? Oh my god, that was so much fun. I could not have been any more excited in my life. Like, if you went back to 14-year-old me sitting in his fucking bedroom listening to your music and said, hey, guess what? You're going to be playing with him on a stage. Not like you open for him. No, you're going to be standing next to him. I'll be like, get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? This guy's a fucking rock star. I'm going to be lucky to even meet him. And now here the fuck we are.
Here the fuck we are. That was when the little Ice and Tilla mini tour we did in Kansas City.
Yes, that's when we met.
That's when we met.
Yes,
and
I vividly recall that night.
That was I sort of do. That was during a time.
I recall that night because it was very wild for me.
That was pretty wild, but nothing's more wild than a couch in space.
Right?
That's crazy. I'm going to smash cut to this because I'm excited, and I feel like we might have been ignoring the giant text-based elephant in the room. Your pun game is A1. I'll be just like walking around like my house and be like, I left the general store because I wanted something specific. That's hilarious. That's one of my top favorites.
That's always a good one.
That's a good one. I mean, like they come back up like in the mental the mental bingo ball hopper of your brain every now and then. And I just recycled one this morning for a Twitter account called Coffee Shits, where I like 9 Inch Nails in the morning because coffee's for closers. But I have to know if you're working on any like puns, you might be able to impart on this very Space Couch episode?
Well, and to be fair, this one might be, digging pretty deep into this. But with Unmarked Grave coming out, I feel it's a pretty monumental thing.
Oh, yes! I love it! I love it! Not only will we circle back to... Dude, we haven't even gotten into the Tiger Squawk stuff, but, like, Unmarked Grave is out as of 30 minutes ago. Check it out. I'm sure it's great. I haven't heard it because I've been doing Space Couch. But...
Yeah. No, I wanted to slip that in there.
I love it.
Intentionally to get people like, wait, what?
That's how you roll, man. Just like...
Yeah,
and
surprise, because I'm terrible at keeping deadlines, so...
Stop. I mean, don't stop, because it's awesome. But digging stuff up for a monumental release called Unmarked Grave. Well, I mean, you can never have too many puns.
Of course. I mean, it's sometimes haunting how often they just stick in my head.
Oh! Well, with Unmarked Grave, a lot of synthesists tend to focus on attack, sustain, and release, but you focused on the decay.
Oh, of course. I mean, sometimes you need to, but it was a good service, I feel. It was a good service.
Nice. Well, and this is I can't work this in smoothly, but
that's what
if you were
said.
like well, if a ghoul were to break in and just eat from that unmarked grave, they would be a cemeterian. Fucking dumb. Oh my god, it is. I mean, don't be a zombie. Go against the mainstream. Pick up Unmarked Grave for pay what you want. How are you finding the pay what you want experience?
Well,
it's been 30 minutes, so who knows?
Yeah. I made the switch. I was listening to Matt Finale Caustic talking about this a while ago, and I think it was about a year ago. He mentioned about using pay what you want as a sort of psychology, like reverse psychology, trick people into spending money when there's no minimum. When they see that there's no minimum, that makes them more inclined to want to spend that money.
Interesting. Fascinating.
And I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That actually makes some sense to me.
Very cool. Well,
so I started doing that. But if we're being, completely transparent here, I don't have the most renowned name, so it's not been great on my end. But I've been noticing an uptick in interest and some downloads, and I've made some decent draws from it.
That's awesome. Well, we'll fix that right here on Space Couch. It's semi-unprofessional of me to do this on the air, but we can call that a Tiger Squawk release?
Yes.
Question mark.
Yes,
Okay, great. Check it out. That'll be Tiger Squawk, I think, 48 or 49, which is crazy. But
it's so many albums.
And 90% of that is Israeli.
I know, right?
With whom you wrote an awesome song about a black deck in Magic: The Gathering,
which is reappearing on Unmarked Grave.
Oh, right back around, man! Like, you must have some underground tunnels dug there because you are the king of the segue. That was great. Love that track.
Oh, that's my favorite one I've made, honestly.
It's great. I bring it up a lot in when people ask me like what Tiger Squawk Records is all about, and I'm like, well, we don't put CDs in like exclusive company, but like who does? Like we got, I can see what Industrial is doing in Norway or what Deletis is doing in England, and then you get to collaborate with Sydney's own Italy about a mono black deck. So dope. The if you could have a biopic made of anyone, like those are kind of hot right now with the Elton John one and the Bohemian Rhapsody and all that. Who would you like to see of whom would you like to see a biopic made?
Well, personally, I am a very huge fan of this human being. I think they're an absolutely amazing person, and to be fair, I think they deserve some attention on not only just them, but their accomplishments and how wonderful they are. But Keanu Reeves,
they would kill. I would see it.
I'm totally serious. I love him.
100%.
Every single movie that he's been in, I have just sold immediately. I don't even care. I see his name. Oh, it's gonna be great. I know it.
That is such a good call because he's not like by any means an obscure name, so you don't really think that like we need to really delve into this guy because he's you can watch him grow up really on sort of like on screen, but to like because I've heard some like he's had a really dark past that he didn't just dwell on. That is. Oh my gosh! Like that's an A+ answer.
Yeah,
I
feel like people should know like not only what he's had to go through to get to where he is and all the struggles he's had, but also what an amazingly good person he is. I mean, there's countless stories I've found of him just doing out of the blue, randomly, incredibly nice thing for someone just because they were there, they needed help, and he's there to help.
To say nothing of, and this is unfair of me to comment on, but I brought it up, so I'll finish the thought. I know I'm so Midwest it hurts. I live in Boston / space now,
that.
Right, dude? Well, I mean, I think kind of the byline of this episode is we're rather similar people. But yeah, I was in Milwaukee for the first part of my life, and then Chicago for like ever, and then now I'm out here in Boston. But that's all a precursor to. I know nothing about Hollywood. I don't know actor people. Some people are very plugged into that system. But coming from just what I've seen in my life, being a young / child actor is like something of a death sentence. Like he came into my world, if you will, with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. What do you think? Like he was 16 or something?
Oh, probably, yeah.
And can you Surveying's here. But like can you imagine like all of a sudden you're eating like Rice Krispies and trying to like do geometry proofs, and then you have $1 billion. And
right?
Not only do you like challenge A is, don't go insane and buy it, blowing hookers or whatever, but like stay relevant and stay awesome. And he just refuses to I'll do one more thing and then I'll shut the fuck up about Keanu Reeves. I just like your answer so much. My buddy Ryan, there was kind of a lull. Like he'd done like Devil's Advocate and stuff that wasn't like out of the park, despite it being like some great Al Pacino.
Oh, that was such a good movie.
He was sort of a little bit of a whipping boy for critics for being like wooden, like Johnny Mnemonic or whatever. And then this movie came out, and my buddy Ryan's like, "You got to see it." I'm like, "It's the Keanu Reeves action speed thing, like whatever." It's like, "No, it's amazing." And being in that theater for the debut of The Matrix in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where people are jumping out of their seats and like just throwing popcorn, not in like a boo way, just because the people's minds are being fucking blown.
Yep.
And Keanu Reeves is like doing karate off the wall and stuff. All right. Sorry. I went to a special memory for me. I apologize for the last 10 minutes to the audience in space and on terra firma and below the earth for me just having a little memory moment. But you have those. Like,
yeah, that happens.
Like you'll be like just eating broccoli or something, and then you'll remember about like Oh, I was in driving to my Uncle Phil's house the last time I had broccoli. Anyway, great answer. I want to whip pan back to albums for a while.
Okay.
You've done EBM, ambient, the not chiptune, but like crazy theme thing with a non-zero amount of video game influence. I think it's fair to say like you got some great like kind of hooks. Um, do you? What is next? Like, are you going to add another like facet to the 20-sided die that is science fiction?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a lot of things planned, actually.
Awesome, man.
I have a 3-track EP that I'm going to get started working on soon. That's going to be very kind of like mechanical tribal sound.
Oh!
You can thank your friend Steven. And
Hey!
I guess our friend Steven.
Yeah.
Because he got me sucked into Warhammer 40K. And so I now have I have ideas.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for listening to that episode of I'll Plug Myself once again, Industrial Nerds. Big up to Tiger Squawk Records' own Clubovator.
Yeah.
Look what you did.
That's what I do.
We're now going to get Jay Smith from Deviant UK is in the place. Yes, we are actually live right now, my friend. Bringing out all the rock stars, dude. Very much looking forward to that. So we'll be.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. Not just that. I mean, oh boy. 3 more albums coming.
3 more albums, I believe it.
It'll be a while, but they are coming.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Stephen Archer is a great guy. We are talking about
Stephen. I love
Stephen
him.
Saunders from Clubovator, but Stephen Archer, former guest of the show twice, is also a great guy. And
there's so many Stevens.
There's so many Stevens, but we like them all. This is Space Couch is nothing if show for Stevens. That's what.
Oh right. Like how is there not a super group of Stevens yet?
All the Stevens. We'll get together. 3 albums, says Jay Smith of Deviant UK. That's like my entire career. Well, it's like a big building. You got to piece it together. But science fiction tends to move pretty quickly. You have been a great boon to all our friends here at Tiger Squawk Records. Thank you so much for our.
I love it. I mean, Israeli alone has now. Oh God, that girl.
Nah, great.
I have never been more inspired
Mm-hmm.
and felt inadequate at the same time. Like, all of you out there listening, I cannot stress this enough. Go get her new album for Chow Method. It is incredible.
That's great. It's great.
And I have never been more. I will be lifting ideas from that.
Yeah, that's great. I don't even like. I'm not a doom metal dude per se, but I'm like, this is amazing. And then we got guys like Bitman that like drop these 3 shining orbs of chiptune majesty. To say nothing of yourself, to say nothing of Beta Virus and.
Beta Virus. Oh God.
The new Noise Maniacs. Big ups to Elijah, and it's just been really great. For the listener at home, I know I'm sort of having a little personal moment with Psy, but we've just been working on this collective Tiger Squawk thing, and it's just been going really well. And you're a big part of that. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I plan on trying to eventually, hopefully, become more involved and more helpful.
Well, you're amazingly helpful. Like
when I have the time, I want to get much more involved.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, we all look forward to that, and I'm sure the audience does too, because you've been amazing. Like that 2 Cups of Blood podcast was like, hey, who do you like on Tiger Squawk? They did like a review of us, and they're like, Science Fiction. Yeah, that dude rules. So like,
Oh,
that was great.
such a treat.
I mean, it was awesome. Getting to have you show up on like Dance Machine 5000, one of my favorite podcasts.
That was so cool.
You are, speaking of metal, I don't know. I'm not like a metal dude, but I know you are.
Mhm.
Are you involved with Evil Kunst?
No.
Okay.
I think it was about a year or two ago. Different directions.
Different directions.
Yeah.
Might you incorporate any metal albums into sci-fi? Is that a world you're looking at?
Yes.
Awesome. Of course it is. Like,
yeah, as I mentioned, thanks to Israel, I've been very inspired. The album I released, what was it, 2014, Lord of Death. I plan on going back and revisiting.
Oh.
Kind of retooling it a bit, cleaning up some of the sound, maybe changing some of the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a friend of mine who I'm going to reach out to and have him layer nothing too crazy, just some nice, simple kind of funeral doom metal guitars under it all, just to kind of beef it up and give it some more bite and some more aggression to it. And I'll be re-releasing that, not chopped up like I have it on Bandcamp right now. It's actually going to be re-released as the full hour-long piece of music that it was written as.
Oh. Very cool. So it's like an hour-long track?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You can thank stoner metal band Bong Ripper for that.
Okay.
I listen to them a lot, and they have a album called The Great Barrier Reefer. It's
good.
An amazing name. And they did the same thing. And they also write a lot of really long songs, so I'm very drawn to doing that myself.
So this isn't, I was all set to make a joke about reanimating, but like you're going full Lich. You're going Lord of the Undead with Lord of the Dead.
Well, I mean, I understand necromancers and I understand wanting to become a Lich. It makes sense to me.
It makes perfect sense.
You live forever and you know everything. What more can you want?
What's the downside? Like, you're going to lose your hair anyway. Like, get over it. Like,
yeah. And you get to be a spooky skeleton? Like, come on.
Yeah, like, you can moonlight at a haunted house. Like, your skin might slough off your bones, but...
That only adds to the effect.
Right. Like, what, did you have a Rolling Stone cover lined up that you're not going to get now? Fuck out of here.
Yeah. If anything, it allows you to become the new mascot for Iron Maiden.
There you go. Phylacteries like daiquiris. That's what we say here on Space Couch because that just came out of my face. So, vote for Psyence Fiction. He's running on a platform of lichdom.
Support your local Lich. I promise, nothing bad will happen.
Yes. What's the worst that? Okay. The second worst that could happen, like, is the Psyence Fiction. Oh my gosh, the dude does not stop. Looking forward to all of that. The hour-long metal track sounds great. I mean, what a world we live in when you can just put an hour-long track up online, and are no longer constrained by like server space or physical media,
or a record label saying, "Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe we should chop this up. I think it'd be easier for the listener to digest."
Yes.
It's like, no, it's a 20-minute long song. Take it or leave it.
Right. It's the best. And I mean, I know I've been pumping some Psyence Fiction in my ear holes. Want to circle back to, we brought this up briefly when we were listening to Enhancing the Truth, but you can also hear that and some other tracks. And a ton of remix work out in the world, but the Psyence Fiction stuff on the Tiger Squawk compilations has been really strong. So thank you for that. Those are free at tigerswalkrecords.bandcamp.com. We are on a rogue flight path. I'm going to reel back into the space station, but in my own unprepared ramblings, I did bring up something I wanted to talk about and forgot earlier. Your remix catalog is rather prolific. Your approach to that is to find a piece you like or redo it from the ground up, or do you have a philosophy behind remixing?
It varies track to track.
Mm-hmm.
Some tracks I'll listen to and I'll go, like, what I like about the remix is I can get all the stems together, listen to the entire track as the person had originally made it,
Mm-hmm.
and get an idea of what they were going for. So my philosophy tends to be more of, I want to somewhat recapture that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't really feel I'm doing that, then I'm going to try to make it sound like I wrote the track myself and they had vocals appearing on it.
Okay.
So that way it's like a whole, like my take essentially on what I would have done had I wrote this myself.
Very cool. Very cool.
So it varies from track to track. Sometimes I'll use nothing of the original track whatsoever. Sometimes I'll end up using quite a bit, if not all of it. Just because I'm trying to figure out how to find a way to get this happy medium to make it work.
Right. That's always the challenge, right? Where like I don't want to write a whole Gothicals track or whatever, and then just kind of shoehorn 3 seconds of a vocal clip in at the end, if I can help it. But sometimes that's what works, and so it's all instinct. And you seem to have, to my mind, a pretty awesome instinct. I mean, you don't get to all the releases and stuff you had with just kind of doing, market research, like you're some sort of corporation, which I know you run an evil corporation under the ground. Technically, it's a metaphor. They fall apart if you extend them too far.
I mean, I am a part of an underground corporation, Industrial Goth Kansas City.
Oh, so, nice.
We are as underground can be.
You are literally and figuratively underground. Is there anything coming up for that organization we should know about?
We do have some shows lined up. We have Luna 13 coming soon.
Nice.
We have Satanic Hispanic and Plagues coming back through next month.
Oh, Plagues! Very good.
Yes. I love both of them so much. They're such good guys.
Yeah, Plagues is cool.
So they'll be coming up. And, yeah, we've got quite a bit of things in the works.
It is going on in Kansas City, Kansas, right? Or Kansas City, Missouri. I get them.
Most of our shows take place in Missouri.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, if you want a fun story, I can tell you a amazing story.
I like fun stories.
So, do you want to know why Kansas City, Kansas even exists?
Why does Kansas City, Kansas exist?
So, for everyone out there, I am a huge history buff. I love history.
Awesome.
So, looking into the history of Kansas City. So, Kansas City, Missouri was founded, long time ago when Missouri was founded. It was, a big deal. So, Kansas was still just a territory at that time. Well, when Kansas finally became a state, they wanted Kansas City. I mean, it's in their name. It's in the name. Our name is Kansas. We want Kansas City. We want to annex the city and make it ours. Well, the federal government was like, no, you can't have it. There's, a ton of people that already live there. The city's been existing for, at least, what was it? I think at the time, like 20 years or something longer, maybe, than you've even existed. So you don't get to have the city. So Kansas, in its most petty of petty ways.
Is that what it is?
Yes. They decided to make Kansas City, Kansas intentionally to confuse people and direct people and trick people to coming to the Kansas side and spending money over here in Kansas.
The whole city's a giant middle finger. Like, yes. I'd never heard that.
There is no other reason for Kansas City, Kansas to exist other than to trick people.
Funny. Oh, just to be like, wrong one, gotcha. Like
It's like you're now here.
yeah, hey, you know.
Thanks for spending money at our terrible casino.
Oh, man. Well, what did we learn today?
A lot.
We learned some history. We learned a little bit about remixing. We learned a little bit about diversity, specifically the variation of one's own style, and not only the proliferation of music that can come from that personally. It's nice to have a great catalog, but it's the reset. You gotta clean out the old mental pipes, I think.
Yeah.
And that can be great. Like that's what I'm doing with Gasoline now, which I realized. Speaking of kaiju, I realized after the fact I accidentally themed a project on Hedora. So the smog monster appears in the backing videos.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it turned out to be good, but I bring that up just because like that's what I'm doing with myself in a mirror to your own style change for Unmarked Grave, which just came out at the top of the episode. If you are listening later on the podcast, it's still out. It hasn't changed. It's probably pretty new. Sciencefiction.bandcamp.com. Check him out as well on Facebook. We are going to wrap her up for this pretty dope episode. Thank you. Do you want to any closing space thoughts?
So I got a lot of things in the clip.
Mm-hmm.
I got an album that's going to be out next year.
Wow.
For what was it? May 5th. Going to be an album about Sith Lords.
Oh, Sith Lords people.
Revenge of the Sith.
Dig it.
Revenge of the 5th. So there we go.
Well,
perfect release date.
Perfect.
And then expect things to start getting much more aggressive out of me in the near future. There's going to be speedcore. So, 333 BPM.
The dude has got a motor. Oh,
it's
man.
going to be chaotic and it's going to be violent. It's going to. I'm going to be aiming to make music that's going to auditorily beat the ever living shit out of you.
Fantastic. Sign me up. I mean, you say be ready, but like the human body can only physically prepare so much.
I mean, to be fair, yeah.
for you humans out there, I know we have some amphibian people, but you know who you are. I know the government is after you, but come hang out with me in space or with Psy under the earth.
Yeah.
It'll be all good. We'll just make fish puns all day long. It'll be great. Psy, this is Space Couch for Psyence Fiction. Signing off. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
And we go to the outro screen. So, this is dope. I normally lobby to get on the industrial pet calendar. If you know any pets that should go on.
My dog Phantom.
Okay, you have definitely a space on the Phantom is definitely on the industrial pet calendar that I don't really have a plan for, but these things have a way of happening if you talk about them enough. I think we both have at least tracks, if not albums, that have come about from YouTube or Facebook conversations.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Portal happened.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was just, hey, I could write an album about this, can't I?
That is your outro.
Next thing you know, here it is.